Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about the manager's report card. Now, that isn't as ominous as it may sound to you. Really, it's an opportunity for you as a manager, and you'll see why when I dig into it. But let me just hit it right off the top here. According to management derailment studies, 50% of managers fail in their jobs. In other words, they're doing it wrong. And if you look worldwide, there's about 200 million managers. That means 100 million are going to work and making a negative impact on their employees. In the U.S., 15 million managers, 7.5 million are getting in the way of effective customer service and productivity and sales in the workplace. Whoa, we have to be better than that. And you don't want that being you. And you can make a difference. But let's look at the rest of the numbers. And you need to know how it impacts employees. According to management derailment studies by A.O. Hewitt and Gallup and Carnegie and many others, employee disenchantment, disengagement, dissatisfaction is at all-time highs. And why does that matter? That means employees aren't doing the best job they can in what they're doing. In fact, it isn't helping employees, go that extra mile. It isn't helping them advance in their careers. They want to leave. Wow, we can't have that, especially since employees are the greatest asset of a company. Now, do you understand? If you can make a difference in terms of leading differently than the rest of these managers, you'll have a more positive impact and have a great result on your career advancement and possible income. That's what I'm talking about here. So zero in on the rest of these numbers as I go through it. And by the way, where did all these numbers come from? Well, a couple of things. I started with us finding this. 5,000 reasons to hate your boss. We do seminars and ask employees and other managers in those seminars, why do you think of the worst boss you ever had? And they give us information and we categorized it. And we came up with the top 10. Poor communication, lies, indecisiveness, favors brown nosers, doesn't listen, procrastinates, forgetful, withholds information, in other words, not communicating well, belittles employees in front of others, and just too much critical information, and talks too much. That's what employees were saying why they hate their boss. Now, keep in mind, who makes the biggest impact on the performance of an employee? It's their direct supervisor. That's why this is so important. You make the difference. And the number one reason why employees leave is because they hate their boss. So what are the rest of the statistics? And by the way, they come from our book, Superstar Leadership. My business partner and I, Doug Watsabout, went out and searched the research out there and found these to be able to come up with a snapshot of how effective leaders are today. So the first one, as I mentioned, 50% of managers fail. Number two, 50% of managers don't know that if you improve service and quality, you can reduce cost. 50% of managers, get this now, don't understand that employees will repeat behavior that is praised or recognized. And 60% of managers think it's wrong to brag about an employee in front of others. Can you believe that? You know why they think that? Is because they think you're favoring people. But if you only give recognition a little bit, that'll be the case. If you do it consistently, it won't be a problem. And then 2/3 of managers don't set goals in writing with their employees. With all the information on performance management today, wow, and maybe it should be high performance management, but that's a whole nother topic. That's inexcusable not to be able to do that. What else? 70% of managers don't believe that the best way to solve an employee problem is through a mutual decision-making process. In other words, they just want to tell the employee what to do, which really doesn't help long term. 80% of managers don't know that observations made in performance reviews should be specific rather than focusing on generalities. 80 to 95% of service and quality problems are management related. Most companies, what they want to do is focus on the employees. I remember this one big airline said, we have a customer first program. And I had complained to them, then they sent me a letter back and told me that. Well, the fact is, I mentioned it was their management that needed to improve. But they didn't get it and they went bankrupt. And the last point, 91% of employees say they want more recognition. Only half say they get any at all ever. Now, when you look at these numbers, what grade would you give managers? Would you give them an A, a B, a C, a D, an F? Most people that we talk to will give them a D or an F. Now, I was told early in my career, Rick, if you want to be successful, look at what everybody else is doing and do something different. And when you think about this, that's what we want to do here. We want to turn these things around. And I'm just going to give you a heads up on how you're going to do that. First, we need to believe in people as our greatest asset. Employees have tremendous potential. Our job as a leader is to bring out the best in them by how we interact with them. We tell leaders, if you want your team to be better, you have to be better as a leader. Here I have a picture of Cy Perlis. He's 91 years old. And he set a world record in weightlifting, 187.2 pounds in the bench press. How many of you can lift that much? Probably not that many. Wow! And it just epitomizes the potential our teams have. So what can we do to help them? We have created what we call the superstar leadership model based on the research, the things that managers need to do to motivate, inspire employees to be their best. And I'm just going to touch the highlights. You need to set clear goals and expectations. Give them lots of training. Great communication, one-on-one meetings and other means. Coaching, and notice that's one of the biggest. That's one of the key drivers. You want to learn all you can about that. Leading with flexibility. Giving recognition. Having some promotions and incentive. Having a focus on continuous improvement and learning and growth. And then, of course, you want to do a great job of hiring. All of these go together with trust and consistency. In other words, we really care about the success of our team. In other words, help your team be successful, and you'll be successful leader. And bottom line, if your team wins and they have high performance in your job, so do you. That's what we're talking about here. That's what differentiates you from everybody else so that you can be a superstar leader. Now, I have this dream that soars on golden wings. And I visualize your achievements and your legacy that sings. I do not know all about your awesome goals or your persistent efforts to raise the bar. I only know that you can be the best, a superstar. I appreciate you coming here today. Look forward to talking with you again real soon. Take care.